Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. All right, we have a question that came in today from A. Rudy in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And A says, Don, I just viewed a show on the Golf Channel on regional long drive contests leading to the World Championship. In addition to showing the competition and getting information about the contestants, there was a segment from the Titleist Performance Institute that explained how the contestants got their incredible power. From your viewpoint, is there anything that the average golfer can learn from that? Absolutely, because if they're showing how they're moving and how their muscles are stretching, you're going to find most of those guys are definitely behind the ball at impact and their arms are straightening out. Now the key with most of them is they believe that a really wide stance is going to get them more power, and they're all swinging really long. Most of them long drivers as much as 48 inches long, and that makes it much more difficult. They got the strength to hit the ball, to swing them faster. And remember, the world of golf is selling you drivers today. The average standard driver that's sold to the average golfer is on average 45 to 46 inches long, and they're telling you it's automatically going to hit the ball longer. It will hit the ball longer if you can swing it as fast and as solid and as straight. If you can't do those three things, you can't hit a longer driver longer. And I really think that even a lot of 6'3" or more people, golfers, if they got appropriate arm length for their body height, they don't need 46-inch drivers. I mean, even if they could swing it, I really believe that they'll hit drivers 44 inches. If they swing it fast, it'll be slightly more vertical, and they should still be able to swing it even faster because it's more vertical and more controlled. And in the end, what it comes down to is you want to control your golf ball and you want good misses. But I've seen golfers actually hit it less. Doc Griffin has a long drive guy now that's going to these competitions, and I think he took him out of a 48, and he's got it all the way down to a 44-inch driver now, and he's increased his launch angle, increased his club head speed, and he's increased this guy's distance. And this is no little short, weak-looking weakling here. This guy is buff, because most of these golfers, these long drive guys, they are pretty buff, they're pretty strong, and so on, and so they can make speeds way over 140 miles an hour or more, and ball speeds up I think in the 200 range. Okay, so he says, from my viewpoint, is there anything these average golfers can learn from that? Yeah, you can learn. You can see how a guy hits it big, and many of these guys are very close, if not almost out of control when they hit it. All right. All they're trying to do is get that really big drive in the grid. And first of all, he says they only need to get one long drive out of 6 in the grid to count. That's all they need is one. All right? And I'll tell you what, I guarantee you many of them are getting nervous if they're reaching 4 and 5 and they don't have one in the grid yet. So normally I think you find that if some of them, if you talk to them, they'd say, well, I'm going to try to stay within control a little bit, get a good one in the grid, and then I'll go for it. But I got to get a qualifier in, because if you get none, you're not even in the ball game. He said, secondly, the average golfer, particularly the older golfer, either can't get into the same positions or would hurt themselves trying to do so. However, I do think that the conditioning necessary to achieve maximum swing speed would apply to the PPGS swing. Absolutely. Conditioning, muscle tone is going to help you be able to more control your body, control your swing, control the club, and therefore you can do all of that. You can control impact and hit the ball a lot more consistently, more solid and straight. So yeah, physical fitness and muscle tone and being able to control the golf club is critical. All right, and all that stuff is important. But I can remember years ago, there was one gentleman, he was from Canada. If I recall, he wasn't, and this could be years ago, I'm talking maybe 10 or so years ago. I don't think he was that tall, but boy, this guy was like max muscles. I mean, he just was bulging everywhere. And if I recall, he was from Canada, and I think I remember seeing that he was a pharmacist. And this guy could bust it. I mean, he could kill it. And he was using a long club, despite being rather short. But boy, he could hit it, and he won it like 3, 4, 5 years in a row or more or something. I mean, he was the king of the hill for quite a few years. But this guy was always having physical problems. I mean, I can't think of his name right now. I bet you could look up and get the list and find some guy, and if it says where he lives and it's Canada, and he won it a number of years right in a row, or win it, lose it, and win it right back. But I think he had a number of years in a row. But look up find him and look up his his record and everything else, if there's any stories on him, you're going to find that I remember hearing a lot that he had severe back problems. He had a wide stance. He had an extreme kick to his left knee like this, for his right knee into his left, and a big and when he wrapped it, he spun out of the ball to turn his hips faster and his body faster through the ball and hit it, and he got him with the club whipping over, that long club whipping over, and had a big C. And the reverse C is one of the worst things you can do for a bad back, and that's been documented in all kinds of biomechanical studies and everything. And he had it, and he had back problems, but he won the long drive like a number of years, and I mean that means he not only hit it long, but he was hitting straight enough to keep it in the grid. And so, yeah, you can learn something from it. But I think in most cases, these guys are pretty much like a drag race car. They're full bore out, and they're hoping to get that one in the range. I don't ever swing full bore. If you go listen to our driving video that I did with DJ, he never goes more than, he said, 90%. Not now and then, if the situation warrants it on a par 5 that he can possibly reach, he might go to 95. I've heard Tiger Woods once say he never goes at more than 92%, and I'm sure he ups that every now and then. But if you want to keep the ball in play and not put your body at risk for straining and tearing muscles, you can't be going 100% all the time, because 100% is basically pretty close to out of control. And if you're out of control, how are you going to control the club to control your ball? So everything has to stay within that good zone of keeping as we say, keeping the tires on the pavement and in your lane, so that you can keep cruising right down the road. And in this case, keep your ball in the fairway, cruising right down the fairway, landing in it and staying in it, or landing on the green and staying on the green, because hitting them solid and straight in the end is the most consistent way to have longer drives, because crooked drives going off line might go farther, but in the long run, between point A to point B, which is where you want to go, longer drives are ones that go straighter, okay, and that you're in control of. And that's the way to shoot lower scores. Good misses, stay in play, and so you got to find the swing that keeps it under control. So yeah, we can learn things from them, but I think the most important thing to learn is we don't want to play golf on the edge of swinging as hard as we can swing, full power, full bore, because that's going to give us a lot more shots going in all kinds of places that we don't want to play from, because we can't make pars from there. All right, well, that's it for the search for today, and learning to stay within your means and play with what you got, what you are, and you'll find you'll shoot. Controlling your ball will help you shoot lower scores, and that's what it's all about. Okay, that's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking with you all again soon.